Hey everybody, it's Amy again. Thanks for checking in. I have found my first victim here on my search for excellence. One of what I was talking about earlier today is one of the needle movers for me was a conscious decision to surround myself with people that I looked up to, people who I viewed as high performing type people, because I could learn so much from them. And I'm happy to call this lady right here a good friend of mine and mentor as well. Janet, thanks for being with me today.
Sure.
I love the fact that I can call on Janet and say, hey, I'm going to come by and ask you a few questions, okay? And she says, sure, stop by. And I said, I'm going to film it, okay? And she says, sure. And we sit down to do this, and she doesn't even have any idea what I'm going to ask her about. So there's an indication of somebody who's okay with spontaneity and also pretty confident. So I love that. But what I'm interested in about you for today's topic is your ability to take a project and turn it into doable tasks and make something that seems huge happen. And because you have been the event director for the Devil and Dash for a couple of years, as also and also been very instrumental in several triathlons, including Ironman activities. I know you have great experience with that, and so I'm just going to hit you up for a little bit of advice for taking a big project and turning it into little doable tasks. So tell me what it's like to try to coordinate something like the Devil and Dash 5K.
You said something first that is key to anything that goes well in my life, and that's surrounding yourself with people who also contribute and want to contribute in whatever way they can. Laying out a broad view picture of what needs to be done and then chunking it. That works for me. To break it into pieces that are manageable and matching up the different kind of task sets and matching them up to someone who has that kind of expertise. Someone who likes to deal with regulatory stuff and finances. Somebody else who is more experienced in course setup, somebody else who's more involved in advertising and PR. Break it into chunks and find people who have experience that are going to jump in and help. So that's one of the things that is huge is asking for help.
Asking for help, okay.
And, the Devil and Dash is a really good example of that because people are all volunteers. It's not like you can, hit them on the head with a hammer and make them do something. It's volunteer. But the same thing at work. You might have a giant project at work, and maybe some people are more motivated to do it. Some people are less. I think finding something in that task that awakens something in them that they like. So that's what, in general, big project, dash, work, personal training. If somebody thinks about doing a 140-mile Ironman, you don't think about doing a 140-mile Ironman. You think about the little chunk you're on and managing that. So, in a nutshell,
All right.
Chunking works for me.
Something you said that's really important, I think, and brings up something that can be very difficult for high-performing type people, is to be able to let go of wanting to do everything yourself if it's going to be done right.
Yep.
There can tend to be that feeling of, well, I really need to take this on because...
Guilty. It's a hard thing to do because when you personally have a vision for something, you have to take the time to get it out of your own head and share it. Because even though, you might be 99% right about what needs to be done, the 1% that somebody else might bring, or the 60 or the 80 that somebody else might bring, is the part that's needed. And if you don't ask for help, and if you don't allow other people to feel like they can toss ideas out there and not be judged, that it's okay to say something stupid, it's okay to fall down, it's okay to make a mistake, bounce back and fix it and move on. And it is tough to ask for help or to sometimes trust others if you're so used to being self-reliant. There's balance. Self-reliance, good. Selfishness, bad.
Right, and trying to do everything on your own, even though you may know how to do it the best, or like you said, 90% the best, nobody can do that. Nobody can take on everything, and
Yeah.
so that breaks into your productivity and your efficiency.
You're either going to fry, or
Right.
you're just not going to have as much fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
Yeah, it takes a group. So 2 really key points from an excellent high performer and somebody who has managed to not only direct and put on some incredible events, but is the kind of person who, for her birthday, for herself, decided to actually participate in an Ironman. Somebody who knows how to take a big, huge goal, a big, huge project, turn it into doable chunks, incredible information in terms of making sure that you know how to ask for help, and then letting go of those tasks so that you can allow somebody else to do it and you can work together as a team. Great input.
Exactly.
Thank you very much. You want to add anything?
No, you're on it.
This is our one little task for today. We broke it into chunks.
Done.
Awesome. Thanks. Appreciate it. You can stop.